Hi there, everybody. Welcome, appalled and weary viewers. What a week, and we're only halfway there. So, the flack is still flying about what happened in Helsinki. And who would have thought? Who would have dreamt that a multiple bankrupt real estate tycoon wouldn't make a good president? The Republicans didn't know, no one told them. So now they are scrambling. So watch those fetid rats scurry about, hang their heads in shame. What the hell are they going to do now? So in other developments, of course, we had Maria Butina. So if she'd only watched Tarot Down Under, she would have known her numbers up and she could have got out of the States, but she didn't. You see, that's why you must watch this channel. Now, in the meantime, in the UK, they've been doing their own investigations into voter manipulation. And that has turned up a lot of stuff that sort of dovetails with the American stuff in terms of what happened to the Facebook data that was stolen. And it turns out it was accessed in Russia, which apparently is a serious development, as opposed to being delivered to the Russians, or the Russians hacking into it and getting it. It was delivered, is what I meant to say, and it was accessed in Russia. Now, a key player turns out to be, his name is Alexander Cogan. He worked for Facebook. This might surprise you viewers or not. He also worked in Russia. Now, he's playing it down, and when he was questioned by MI5 or MI6, he said, I wrote this down because it was such a classic. No, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. He said, it might be nothing to do with the Russian agents. It could just be someone checking their mailbox. I mean, please, do they think we are all idiots? This stuff is so insulting. But on the upside, geez, it's waking people up. It is waking people up. Roll on the midterms. And I just read today in Politico or somewhere, this is why it's so important to vote, guys. There's 12 million more Democrats registered than Republicans. That's apart from a lot of Democrats or potential Democrat voters who aren't there or who don't answer the polls, yes, I'm a staunch Democrat. So that's 12 million outright. So get along to that polling booth. Now, in Australia, we have compulsory voting. Now, that might sound strange, but I think it was the best thing our founding fathers actually did, because Australians are very politically lazy by and large, and we probably would have had, fairly poor turnouts. But basically, people go and vote. It's also always on a Saturday, so working people can get there. Hello, even though people work weekends now, it's better than a Tuesday or whenever the hell you guys do it. And so if you don't like the sound of compulsory, let me tell you what happens, because for quite a few years, I didn't vote. That was my little protest, if you vote, you only get a politician. So if you don't vote in Australia, you get a letter in the post about 2 weeks later saying, naughty, you didn't vote, you are fined $20. Then if you don't pay the fine, which most people who don't vote don't pay the fine, nothing happens. But the principle's there. So it's sort of a good balance. So when you completely revisit your system in the future, which will hopefully be universal health care and getting people out to vote, it's good to look at the different models around the world, what works, what doesn't, So there you go. Now, Cambridge Analytica. It's now back in the news, like I was saying, via the UK connection, because they were having all the same issues. And they're working flat out on this. And they are coming down hard and heavy on Cambridge Analytica. So I want to see if Rebekah Mercer gets caught up in this. So first of all, I want to see what's happening with Cambridge Analytica, which has now been reinvented as Emerdata or whatever it is. And how far will those charges go? And if Rebekah Poison Lips Mercer will in fact have to answer. So let's go. All right, this is Cambridge Analytica. Ooh, lordy, 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 lordy. Interesting. Before it gets any further, let me just do some cards here. I'm doing a different layout today. All right, bang in the center, they've got the Six of Swords. And have a look. This is trying to get away from adversity. Right. This is trying to escape what is coming down. So that's the change of name to Emerdata, you know, as I see it. All right. What were they setting out to do? The Two of Cups, like the Lover's card, bringing people together, meaning bringing oligarchs together, meaning bringing wealthy people together and doing business. The Empress, maybe this is Rebekah. So she was in the centre of it. Oh, yes. The Empress. Queen of Wands could be her, but I don't think so. I think she's that touch younger, the Empress. The Queen of Wands, older woman. I wonder what's the story with the Mercer matriarch, the mother. Is she a doormat? Is she a closet tyrant? If anyone knows the background on Mother Mercer, please let me know. But another woman was involved at an extremely high level. So, ironically, what strength did they bring to the table? Well, they brought strength. They had power. They had so much money and so much power, and then they exercised that and have interfered not only with America, but the UK elections and the dreaded Brexit vote. So guys, some of you I know from your comments are familiar with Brexit and what it means and where it's going. For the rest of you who are interested in just generally, probably more so in politics than you've been before, read up a bit about Brexit, because it is terrifying what is happening with Brexit. This is what happens when you try and extricate yourself, like America First and the tariffs and everything. When you try and isolate, what happens? Well, what happens is the hidden agendas come out, and the deception, this is the deception that they bought. They had the strength to buy it, to fool people into voting for Brexit. So not only is it taking years, they don't officially withdraw till next year, so it's nearly 3 years since the vote. People are only now realising, a big impulse behind the Brexit vote was to stop immigration. And of course it doesn't happen like that anyway. Let's not go there. So they didn't get what they want, but they had the wool pulled over their eyes of, yeah, you know, go the Brits, you know, we'll do it ourselves. And now they're finding all the repercussions. Like farmers have been subsidised by the EU, fishermen have been subsidised by the EU, so many businesses are entrenched with the EU, and it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Do not be fooled by this, viewers. So then, back to Cambridge Analytica. both in the US and the UK, the Wheel of Fortune. I take that to be their numbers up. The Wheel of Fortune has caught up with Cambridge Analytica. So I'm sorry, a change of name doesn't cut it. And of course, this also involves the truly evil and demonic Eric Prince. And although we bandy around words like evil, and I'm not in my normal life entirely comfortable with the concept of evil, but some people really, they deserve it. And he's one of those black ops guys, Look, truly, he is truly, truly deserving of the word. So now I want to move on. Maybe I should include him in this too. Before I do Rebekah, I might do Eric Prince. Eric Prince, Cambridge Analytica and Eric Prince. Just a quick one for him. Oh, whoa. All right, there, viewers. Hope you can see these. He could end up being the sacrificial lamb and the martyr. Now, he's worked really hard at being a cruel force for destruction. He's worked very hard at that. He's never been involved in anything that gives to people, only businesses that threaten people, take away their livelihoods, torturing people. He's the worst of the worst. And ironically, there might be some justice here that he could be the martyr in this, because he was deeply entrenched with Cambridge Analytica, not just financially, but in terms of deciding where they're going to go, what policies they should have. He was behind it all with the lovely Rebekah. So he has already, I think, you guys probably know too, let me know, I think he's already been brought in for questioning, and I suspect there's more questioning going to go on, because his tentacles are everywhere, not only in the vote rigging and so forth, but in his other very nasty businesses. Then he got the good news, bright young thing, reversed. So here his luck is turning in every way. Not a good card to have reversed. He also gets the almost lovers card. I think this is him and Rebekah, because I've been focusing more as this reading goes on those two. I think that's what it was in the first reading, and that's what it is now. I think this is Eric Prince and Rebekah under the aegis of the Trump line, but under the umbrella of the American arms. And so even though we're talking internationally, they are both American. So that was that. His working with Rebekah led to a very good life, a very comfortable life. Unlike his sister, Betsy DeVos, sharp as a bowling ball, does she have her finger on the pulse or what? Now, we know she's thick as a brick, but he isn't. He's a bit smarter. That's this figure as well. He's a bit smarter than his sister. But it's not enough out in the cold. Have a good look. So, like all of them, they all act so tough. This is a guy who literally tortures people for a living on government contracts. Nice. We'll see here how he holds up to staunch questioning, let alone torture. I mean, you watch. He'll cave. He'll cave. And stupid, bloody, arrogant Manafort has left his run too late. to do a decent plea deal. He might knock a few years off if he tells all now, but he blew it. He was waiting for Trump's pardon. He's not going to get it. Trump couldn't pardon a poodle from this point in. Imagine. Okay, now we're going to move on to Rebekah herself. And as I've said before, viewers, when women are right-wing and vicious and arrogant, they're worse than the boys. Worse than the boys. All right, Rebekah Mercer. And given that her father's a psychopath and she was his pride and joy, the apple of his eye, what does this tell you? Rebekah Mercer. So, the actual question. Will she be brought in? Questioning's not enough. Will this be the end of Rebekah Mercer or not? Will this be the end of Rebekah Mercer? Rebekah Mercer. Rebekah Mercer. Now, I'm a great believer in equal opportunity, and that's why I'd like to see Ivanka go down as well as the boys. That's why I'd like to see Rebekah go down. Let's just have a level playing field, shall we? So, what do the cards have to say about her? Oh, this is weird. I'm getting these reversals, guys. Oh. All right. The group work card can be positive, can be about, for those of you learning tarot, it can be like the master, people coming to the best. They want the absolute best and they're prepared to pay for it. This is, though, the black money card. And reverse, even Rebekah Mercer is going to lose money, significant money. She could lose $1 billion and it wouldn't even compromise her lifestyle. We are talking serious money being lost. The burden, she's carrying a burden too. Well, good. Dear viewers, I doubt very much it's the burden of guilt. I don't think she's capable of it. I think she is a micro-sociopath in daddy's shoes, right? So it's not guilt, but she's furious and she's worried. And should be the sun shining on her corrupt dealings. She might get away with it. This is the walking away card. She might get away with it. Hate that. Hate that. But I've got to call it like I see it. So she's got a chance of walking away. A bit further out, the High Priestess. You could describe Rebekah Mercer as the High Priestess of this sort of league. She leaves Ivanka in the kindergarten in terms of money and power. But this figure, which I take to be Rebekah herself, interesting, she has a Jewish name. This is a Jewish card. Beelzebub and Yahweh. She's sitting between good and evil. Okay. Let's have another look. Oh, one more card. Embattled. Oh, look, short of jail, I will not be happy. And I'm not someone who likes jail for anybody, actually. But maybe a prison farm. You know, let them do some work outdoors. So short of jail, she is embattled. So she's not out of the woods yet. So I can't say from this absolutely. She could walk away, but she's still embattled. So the longer that she stays in the discourse of Muller's findings, and every time he turns around or goes to the toilet, he must be turning up Rebekah Mercer's name and fingerprints. in all these things. Please, God, Mullah, he gets as far as Rebekah. All right, guys, I'll be back soon. Just had to throw that out there for you. Keep the comments rolling in. Love the comments. Thumbs up. Bye, guys. Oh, can't turn it off. You're stuck with me. Why isn't this working? Oh, there we go. Bye again.